What's up, everybody? It's Matt Schmidt, and in this video, we're going to be talking about the targeting for the product that we had covered and found in the prior videos. Up to this point, we searched Etsy, found a good product, sourced that product appropriately in the right ways by making sure that our supplier had supply. We contacted them, asked them a couple of questions that we covered in that video, and that led us to listing that product on our site using our Smart Apps Express that allows us to not only import it quickly, but also get ourselves some automated fulfillment with just a couple of clicks. So now we need to be targeting the appropriate audience. So this is just a quick recap on the product. If you're just coming into this, go back to the other videos. But just to recap, this is a personalized cutting board for mothers. At this point right now, we're just selling it to people with the word mom on it. So what we want to do is kind of match this up with an audience, right? There's no real specific, narrowed down niche that we're going after. This is more of the category of all mothers, right? Because anybody who is a mom could be called mom. If we had nurse mom, home is where the nurse mom is, or something like that, then we'd have to narrow it down into that nurse niche and target mothers in that niche. So the targeting for this is going to be a little broad, but this is a good example for Etsy, right? Because this is a lot of what Etsy is some great unique products that you can match up with millions and millions of people. So what I want to do real quick is go over into the Audience Insight tool, which you can find in your Business Manager. And I want to match up that product to our audience, right? And we want to find our audience here. So let's go ahead and look. We're going to say women, of course, here. Now you could make the argument that you could target men and have them buy for their ladies. But what I'm going to be doing here, my initial strategy here is going to be targeting the mothers themselves. And then in the next video, we'll talk about incentivizing the tag, incentivizing the clicks and things like that to make sure that the product goes a little viral and that the moms do a little legwork for us as well in terms of getting their kids involved or their husbands involved. So what I want to do right now is find our mothers. So under this advanced portion right here, you can actually go down and there's this segment called parents. And there's a couple ways of attacking this. I want to show you this one real quick here. So you have expectant parents, and then you have child 0 to 3, 4 to 12, 13 to 15. So if you really wanted to get specific, you really could get down to that granular level. But I want to go for the all parents. And then up here, you're going to start to see the demographics switch, right? So what I want to kind of focus on is, all right, let's take a look at this again. Mom, right? In my mind, once you get up into maybe the grandparent stage, you might be focusing more on, that grandma name more than you would maybe the mom name. I might be wrong. I mean, obviously you still have if you're a grandma, you have a daughter or a son that calls you mom, right? But I think you really takes over to the grandma at that certain point. So I just want to get like really honed into a good audience here and kind of cut out some of the others. I also in my rule, if you've ever seen my audience insight rules before in another video, I do like cutting out anything that's less than 10% in these columns. So the 18 to 24 is just a small portion of this overall mother audience. So what I want to do is I'm going to change this up to 25. So step 1, let's just kind of cut that out here. Step 2, let's kind of understand who exactly we're going for, right? So I would say probably 25 to maybe the 54 range is a core mother demographic. And then maybe if 54 plus, you might start getting more and more into like the grandmas and things like that. Not that you couldn't be a grandma down here, just saying the general overall audience. So what I'm going to do here is cut down and go even a little bit further and say 54. That's just kind of understanding our audience. Now, something very, very important to note, as if it works here, right? Then we can expand and test out. But what we're trying to do is limit the amount of people we're going after at first. I mean, there's still 20 million people in this audience. Try to get that success, and then you can scale out from there. I've done this millions of times. I don't know the exact number, but I've done this so many times that this is how it's worked for me. You can always go bigger, right? But you have trouble when you go too big and it fails, and maybe you skip past a winner there just because you didn't properly cut out the right people. So let's go ahead and take a little bit more of a look into what we got going on here. Now, at the time of this video, it was very recently that Facebook got rid of the Audience Insights feature called the Affinity. And that's no big deal anymore. It just kind of shows you the priorities and what Facebook deems important when you guys are doing this. It used to be very important to do affinity and to kind of pay attention to that, but they've changed up what they prioritize. So what we're going to do is kind of stick with this a little bit and stick with this demographics and this audience size right here. Now there's a couple of ways in the next video I'm going to show you how to attack this in terms of targeting, but this is my core demographic, right? It's pretty straightforward. 25 to 54 women who are parents. We didn't go after married. We didn't do anything like that we could layer on top of this. If you really wanted to, you could go after the married mothers. That cuts out 10 million people listed here on Facebook. That's even more of a core demographic. We could do this, but in the next example, what I want to do is show you a couple different ways of breaking down 20 million people to try to get yourself some success, and then we'll walk through a couple of ad examples on top of that. All right, so that's it for this video. I will talk to you soon.